Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It is Thursday, and it's the 23rd of November. Hope everybody's having a great day. Yes, I'm actually filming a rundown for you on Thanksgiving. If that doesn't show you my loyalty and dedication to the channel and to you guys as subscribers, I don't know what more I can do. So first off, again, I want to wish you all a great day, and I imagine you all are off this weekend. So I want you to have a good fishing report for the next few days, so that you can go do hopefully some good catching on the world famous Lake Fork. All right. Before we kind of give you some information about the fishing, as always, I want to talk about the lake. We were stable. That's what the S means. Monday, Tuesday, the lake stayed the same, 400.88. The last 2 days, we've had a tremendous drop, 1 inch. Now, 1 inch doesn't seem like a lot, but in a lake that's shallow borne like Lake Fork, that is mainly backwaters, 1 inch does constitute a lot. That's a half an inch a day. For us to use a half an inch a day in November here in these parts, we didn't. First of all, here's where the water goes on a daily basis in the summer. In the summer, we go down sometimes an inch a day. But you have about 1/4 of an inch that'll go downstream, generally in what they call rate of flow. Sometimes it's a little less than that, 1/8 of an inch. But they have to release what they call rate of flow. Meaning, if there was no Lake Fork and all these creeks were still natural, there would be a rate of flow downstream, or there'd be a rate of flow. Okay, so they can't just dam it up and completely stop it. They have to allow water to be flowing, and that changes a little bit throughout the year. The volume, the rate of flow is what they call it. So 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch per day to rate of flow is a fair statement. We have gotten busy around here, and in the summer we use 1/4 inch to a half an inch a day in watering lawns and municipal source. And then in the mid-heat of summer, we have about a 1/4 inch of evaporation per day, adding all up to about 1 inch per day in the heat height peak of summer and dryness. For us to use a half an inch a day in November right now is a considerable amount. So most likely, and I don't know this because I don't have any ability to know this without maybe calling someone in SRA, Dallas or somebody has probably pulled some water. They've either sold water. SRA is in the business of water management. So they've either sold water somewhere or pulled water to Dallas. But when we're stable Monday, Tuesday, no change, and then in 2 days we have an inch drop, it affects the fishing. An inch isn't real bad, but it does. And remember that falling water, when the water's coming down, it points fish out. That doesn't mean that they're on the points specifically. Lots of things constitute a point in the water. Tree lines can constitute a point. Grass lines can constitute points. If you're going down a grassy bank up in Glade, for example, and it has a little protrusion that grows out, that's a point of grass. The grass made a point. So instead of being up in the grass or up in the front of the grass, they're pointed out on the grass. So first tip, anytime water's falling, kind of think pulled back just a little bit. Outside edges of the grass, outside edges of the tree lines. Points, secondary points, main lake points, any little protrusion or contour change that constitutes a point. Okay? All right? So anyways, that's what's going on. It's not a tremendous huge drop at all, and it has not affected the fishing. 0 to 1 clarity, water is beautiful, 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 pristine looking water. Temperature 63 to 65 degrees. This is what it's been through the whole entire week. Nothing's changed. Even with the last, yesterday's cool trend and today's real cool trend, it's probably not going to reach 65, but it's in that range depending on where you are. I highly recommend that you don't run all the way up north on either side of the lake, east or west. The farther north you go, You will see the water change colors a little bit, and it does get cooler. All right. So stay, main lake, doesn't matter, east side, west side, stay mid-body, mid-lake. I will share with you that the biologists did some shock survey the last couple weeks ago and found the same thing. When they went up north and into the flats and the stained water a little bit, the shock counts were way down compared to what they were in the main mid-lake sections. Okay. There is a spinnerbait bite that's great. And I'm talking quality fish, up 6-7 pounds. There is a square bill bite that is great, even greater for numbers. Throw a square bill, you're going to catch, if you throw it in the right place, you're going to catch a lot of fish. We had 30 plus fish in 2 days of fishing just this week, with a lot of fish in the 1 to 2 pound range, but there were a handful, half a dozen or more, that were in the 4 to 6 pound range, with a 6 pound 7 ounce being our biggest on square bill crankbaits. So if you're shallow, spinnerbaits and square bills are the best baits, search baits. Pay attention when you're fishing. So you start at the mouth of the cove and you start working your way all the way back, cove, creek, cut, drain, whatever you want to call it. Pay attention to where you're getting bit, because you need to kind of stay in that section. You may start at the mouth and get bit right away, and then all of a sudden when you get halfway back in, you're not getting bit anymore. Come back out and spend your time in the mouths of the coves. Stay with the bait. That's another tip. Find the bait. Where is the bait fish? I really noticed that the bait fish moves in, and if you're out in the mouth, you were catching them in the mouth, and then the bait moves in, you stop catching them, and you leave. And all you have to do is move with the bait. Pay attention where the bait is moving around. Shallow bait, 6 to 8 feet of water in the creeks. Fish the banks around it. The deep bite. The deep bite has actually started to come around, and it will come around when this water starts really getting below 60. When it gets around 58 degrees, the shallow fish will start pulling out. Right now you got both. You got scattered fish both places. But you got some deep balls of bait. And a lot of those deep balls of bait are on the points, secondary points, main lake points, and they're in the mouths of the creeks in about 18 to 20 feet of water. Remember that if the ball of bait is round, nothing's been attacking it. If that ball of bait is elongated or broken up, something's been recently attacking it. The lions have been through it, okay? And that's where you want to be, all right? So there's some good public tips. For the deep bite, spoons, flutter spoons, Alabama rigs, Carolina rigs, maybe a jig or two, depending on whether you're a jig fisherman. This time of year, when I do fish a jig, if I'm going to fish, say a football jig on a point in deep water, I'll hop it a lot more. And believe it or not, this is something that's overlooked. Most of us tie on a jig and we tie on a black and blue or a green pumpkin or a crawfish color or a brim color jig. Have you ever thrown a shad color jig? Try it and see what happens. You're fishing shad. So if you had a Carolina rig, you're going to use a fluke. Well, if you got a football jig, why not use shad colors? You'd be surprised. You can also then hop it a little bit more and swim it a little more like a shad bait. Okay, but the Alabama rig and the spoon is what I highly recommend. A flutter spoon. Lake Fork Trophy Lures really is probably one of the best places around here to get the flutters, the best brand of flutter spoon. Lake Fork Trophy Lures, lures with an attitude. You can get them at Lake Fork Marina, and or right here at the factory in Emory, or online, lakeforklures.com. But the spooning is important in the next 6 weeks, and a little more than that too. You can also use slab spoons. I prefer the flutter spoon. But overall, the fishing is very good, very consistent. We have not gotten too cold yet. For example, this time last year we were 52, 51 degrees. The fishing was shut off. We were having a typical good fall feast. So, like I said, we had 30 plus in 2 days. I know of another guy or two that caught them well, and one of my really good friends, Jay Barner, smashed them yesterday on spinnerbaits. Lots of quality fish. Beautiful, beautiful quality Lake Fork specials. So, get on out there and don't be afraid to fish Lake Fork. I know it's been tough this year. They didn't disappear. They didn't go downstream. They didn't go over the dam. They didn't die. It's just been a tough cycle season this year. But it's coming around and we're having a great fall. So please get yourself out there on Lake Fork this weekend and do your best to catch some nice fish. It's a beautiful place to be. All right. I will tell you this now. This is an invite. I have a members only channel that I film right after this. Another rundown. That rundown is much more detailed than what you get here publicly. That rundown tells exactly the baits, the colors, the presentations, the how-to, the location, the rod, the reel, the line. It tells to the precise details of what we're doing, how we just caught those 30 plus fish. I show you the baits. I talk about the areas, the names. I tell you where to go on Lake Fork. Not only do I do that, but I give up the lakes, about 5 different guides here throughout Hubbard, Palestine, O.H. Ivy, Lake Tawakoni, Athens. I give up a lot of other lakes in the area that you might be interested to go fishing. If you don't like Lake Fork, or maybe you come here for the weekend, 3 days, and you fish Lake Fork Friday and you're just not finding it, you want to go somewhere else Saturday, the members only channel isn't just about Lake Fork. All right, I give you the goods, the juice, but I give you a bunch of information on other lakes, not just bass fishing, crappie fishing and catfishing, stripers and white bass. All right, so that's your invite. It's real simple. When you finish watching this video, look in the description below this video and you'll see members only link. Click on the link, follow the process. Super, super easy. Love to have you be a members only channel watcher. All right, subscriber. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving once again. I wish you all great fishing this weekend. Hit the like button if you found this good. Comment below if you really, really found it and like it and have something good to say. And be safe. Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guide.